Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new COD mobile video. As you can see by the title, in this video I'll be doing the top 10 guns in season 5 of Call of Duty Mobile, and bear in mind there was a mid-season patch notes a few days ago, so I will be taking that into consideration. I'll also be sharing the Gunsmith for each gun that I list, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that. And quick disclaimer guys, I don't think there can be a fixed top 10 list for anyone, because obviously everyone has their different playstyles and different guns suit towards different playstyles, but I will try to make this list as general as possible, bearing in mind each gun's advantages and disadvantages. So enough talking, let's jump right into it. So at number 10 we do have the BK57, and to my knowledge the BK57 is probably the most underrated gun overall in season 5 of Call of Duty Mobile, and I've definitely been seeing the BK57 being used a lot more since the season 5 update was released. The BK57 is actually a very versatile assault rifle. It kills very fast at close and mid range, and it is a very dominant gun at long distances as well. The downsides to the BK57 on the other hand is that the recoil can be a bit hard to control for some people if you don't put on the right attachments. For example, there is a turbo horizontal recoil that the BK57 carries that is just very hard to control, and to make matters even better, the BK57 actually did get a slight buff, like a tiny buff during the mid-season 5 patch notes, and they actually did increase the accuracy of the BK57 for the first few shots, and of course that is regarding the ADS bullet spread. And this here of course is the class I'm using. At number 9 I have placed the AK-117, and this was actually my favorite gun a few seasons ago, maybe 1 or 2 seasons ago, but I kind of paused using it when the QXR and the PP19 and those SMGs came into their prime, because unlike the standard assault rifle, the AK-117 actually kind of works like a SMG, where it is most dominant at very close ranges and mid-range. The damage isn't anything too special, so you might need a few more shots to kill than the standard assault rifle, but the rate of fire is what I believe actually makes the AK-117 so dominant. The AK-117 actually has one of the fastest rate of fire in the game, and it is ranked among guns like the Type 25 or the HVK, and overall the AK-117 is just a pretty good gun to use. It is a very beginner friendly, the recoil is easy to control, it does have vertical recoil depending on the attachments that you put on, but that is actually very easy to control. At number 8, I do have the KN44, and I did have very high hopes for the KN44. I believe it was last season or maybe the season before where it was given a buff. I definitely thought the KN44 would step up and be a very dominant gun. However, I just don't see it being used as much, but it is still a pretty good gun if you ask me. And the reason why I think the KN probably didn't take over was because of the turbo SMG meta that was happening with the QXR, the PP19, and the QQ9, because most gunfights would of course happen at close ranges, and obviously the KN44 would not be very ideal for fighting against those guns at a very close range. I would consider the KN4 like a solid assault rifle. It is a 4 to 5 shot kill with decent ADS time and accuracy, and the slight recoil makes it very easy to control, with it having a slight horizontal recoil that goes side to side, but it's nothing to worry about. At number 7, I have placed the DRH, and it is kind of weird that I have the DRH so low. This is actually a gun with one of the highest damage in the game, and I think that some people actually don't even remember that the DRH is actually a 3-tap, like one of the most annoying guns a few seasons ago. Unfortunately, the DRH is not being used as heavily as it is to be used, and I believe a major reason for this is, well, personally for me, I don't use the DRH because of its versatility. Even though it does kill pretty fast, counting factors such as its slow ADS speed and its very low rate of fire, it is just not going to be consistent to win gunfights against guns like the QXR or those very fast killing SMGs. However, if you are planning to camp or you're playing on larger maps like firing range or raid, then the DRH will be very deadly if you just sit back and get your picks. At number 6, I do have the AS Val. The AS Val was actually a very underrated gun. It's since recently that people have actually been seeing how useful the AS Val is. It is actually a very widely used gun right now in competitive. Like I mentioned with the AK-117, the AS Val has factors like a very high fire rate and a fast ADS time, and this actually makes the AS Val a very competitive gun at short distances and medium range. So the AS Val can't really compete against assault rifles, but it does stand a pretty good chance against SMGs. At number 5, I do have the QQ9, and the QQ9 actually has fallen a lot since the last time I did a video like this. It was at number 3, I believe. And don't get me wrong, the QQ9 is actually a pretty good gun, one of the best SMGs in the game, and it is actually one of the fastest killing guns in the game right now. So there are actually not a lot of guns that can compete against the QQ9 at a very close range, in particular 5 to 10 meters. However, the QQ9's usage has been on the decline since last season when COD Mobile actually nerfed the range of the QQ9, so it is not as versatile as before, but it still is pretty good. So for me in particular, I like to use the QQ9 on smaller maps like Nuketown Russia, or I'd use it on modes where the gunfights would be in a smaller range like Search and Destroy. And additionally, when making my Gunsmith classes for the QQ9, the main thing that I would try to focus on is to try and increase the range, as well as making the ADS time as fast as possible, so it will be almost impossible to win fights at a very close distance. At number 4, I do have the QXR, and despite the buff that it did get this season, the QXR is still a very viable weapon. As you all may know, this season COD Mobile actually was trying to focus on the range of the QQ9 of the QXR, so they actually tried to buff that, and they also tried to nerf the enhanced bolt perk, which does slightly increase the firing rate of the QXR. Regardless of this, the QXR is still one of the best SMGs at close ranges, and if you put the right attachments on to have a fast ADS time, then the QXR will be a very decent gun also at close ranges. As I said, they did nerf the range this season, so it won't really shred at long distances as it did before, but it actually still does get work done at long distances. However, I wouldn't really challenge assault rifles or guns like the PP-19 Bison, because those will outgun the QXR the longer the distance is right now. Number 3, I have the fennec, and it actually does pain me that I couldn't put the fennec at number 1, and trust me when I say the fennec right now is just so OP. This will definitely be a meta gun this season. It was given some adjustments Thursday during the mid-season patch notes, where they actually did increase the range of the fennec along with the magazine size. They also decreased the recoil that the fennec has, and they made a bunch of other changes, and they also made some changes to some attachments as well. So the fennec was already the fastest killing weapon at close range, followed by the QQ9. What COD Mobile actually did was make the fennec a lot more versatile. So with that range buff and the reduction that it got to the recoil, then you can actually win a lot more fights with the fennec at mid-long distances. And if you did see the video that I did yesterday, the range of the fennec now is just absolutely unbelievable. The fennec is basically unbeatable at close distances. The only gun that can stand up to the fennec at close distances might be the QQ9 or the QXR probably, but the fennec has the fastest rate of fire of any gun right now in season 5, and the sprint to fire time on the fennec makes it almost impossible to lose gunfights at a close distance. At number 2, we do have the PP-19 Bison, and this is actually another gun that was nerfed this season, and again they were trying to focus on the range of the PP-19. Now, even though the PP-19 did get a nerf, I don't think it's anything too huge to make the PP-19 not a viable weapon. The PP-19 currently is still the most used gun right now in rank, and it is so different from any SMG in the game, where the damage it does at range is even better than some assault rifles, and that is actually the role of assault rifles, to dominate at mid-range and long distances. Well, the number 1 gun in my opinion for season 5 is of course the Holger, and yes, the Holger is my number 1 pick right now in COD Mobile, and that might be very strange to some people because I know that not a lot of people can actually use the Holger. It is actually very hard to control, and of course this is a gun that you have to put the correct attachments on it so it can be a viable weapon. So the Holger is actually a LMG, but you can customize it to play as a assault rifle. Unfortunately, with the Holger you are limited to the attachments that you can put on if you want to actually make the Holger good. So my strategy with the Holger is to put on attachments that make the ADS time as fast as possible. Unfortunately, there is not much that you can do about the recoil of the Holger because you need that thing as fast as possible. That is the only way you will be able to win gunfights. So guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it to the end, be sure to go ahead, subscribe, hit that like button, and that is it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.